Hello and welcome to the John Ark Show. Today's show is called How to Save Money by Legally Eliminating Your Mortgage Payment. We're going to show you how to legally and quickly eliminate your mortgage payment in a way that hundreds of thousands of people are already doing every year in certain areas of the country. Before we begin, I want to encourage you to subscribe, like, comment, and follow us. I'd also like to tell you that the show is sponsored by HollywoodIsCalling.com. It is a company which allows you to purchase live calls with many of your favorite celebrities. So whether it's for yourself or whether it's a gift for somebody you love, we'd like you to consider buying a live celebrity phone call from Hollywood is Calling. Now let's begin. All across the country, people are being crushed by their enormous mortgage payments each month. What if you lose your job or you're befallen by some medical catastrophe and you simply cannot make your mortgage payment anymore? There are a lot of middle-aged and retired people in that same predicament. They don't want to leave their homes and they don't want to rent a tiny apartment, and they're under tremendous amounts of financial pressure. Some of them are considering refinancing. Now, granted, the interest rates are lower, and refinancing your home can reduce your payment, but it's not going to eliminate it. You are simply chipping away at a problem rather than eliminating it. Other people with tremendous economic stress caused by their mortgages are attempting to Airbnb their homes. They may have extra bedrooms that they don't use very often. So in an effort to raise money, they will use Airbnb or some of its competing services to rent out some of the rooms for short vacation stays. But that comes with a set of problems all its own. First, a lot of people don't feel comfortable having strangers in their homes. Also, more and more cities are now heavily regulating the Airbnb phenomena, and they're restricting the number of days that you can rent your home out to. Many cities are limiting it to 3 months of the year, which would limit the amount of income you could generate to offset your mortgage payments. And for those people who do rent their homes out on Airbnb, there's always the concern that their temporary tenants may damage the property, may throw wild parties, may engage in illegal activity, all sorts of nonsense, ultimately, which you become responsible for. Some people will try moving in with family, but that comes with challenges all its own. I'm going to tell you about a new solution that's being employed all across the country in some areas, not in all areas. The phenomena is called economic relocation. Some people call it economic migration. And it's one that's been working for people in very specific areas. It's working so well that hundreds of thousands of people a year are doing it in some areas, and literally thousands of people a day are now taking this path. This solution is not for everybody, though. It only works if you live in very specific, very expensive neighborhoods or cities or states. Here's a list of the top cities that people are leaving with this new business model. The people who are embarking on economic relocation plans live in many of the following cities: San Francisco, New York, San Jose, Boston, Los Angeles, Oakland, California, Washington, D.C., San Diego, Seattle, Washington, Miami, Florida. Those are just some of the top cities. The home prices and rental costs in these cities has reached such astronomical levels that it's become almost impossible for the middle class to continue living there. What do these people do? Because the homeowners living in these high dollar areas live in homes that that cost 2 to 4 times as much as they would, in the Midwest or in the Deep South, what they're doing is they are selling those properties and relocating. The median price for a home in Los Angeles is now approximately $750,000, or about $550 a square foot. That means a small house in a questionable neighborhood in Los Angeles with terrible traffic and crime can easily set you back more than $1 million these days. Let's say you sold your home in San Francisco or Los Angeles and you decided to relocate to North Carolina or Tennessee. In those states, you can buy a 5,000 square foot mansion for $500,000, and you'll be located in an area where the crime is low, the schools are excellent, the view outside your window will be extraordinary. The police respond when you call them. They actually come to your house like they used to back in the day in some other coastal cities. And as far as quality of life goes, not only do people in the Midwest or the Deep South actually say hello when they walk past you, but if you need help, you ask for help, ask neighbors for help, you'll have a dozen people offering to help you. Contrast that with what you see in the coastal cities where people live next door to their neighbors, or they live in co-op buildings next to people they've lived next to for a dozen years, and they don't even know their first names. They don't even make eye contact when they go down the hallway. They don't want to know. They're above that. Saying hello is somehow beneath them in these areas. There are several quality of life issues. The most obvious is, the area you reside in. You look out your window and you'll see a view that'll take your breath away. The other tremendous quality of life issue is that once you sell your home in a major coastal city for $1 million and purchase a mansion that's 3 to 4 times larger in the Midwest or the Deep South for $500,000, once that's all said and done, you're going to have $500,000 left over in the bank. A lot of these southern states have no income taxes. So that's another financial benefit you will be accruing over time. The enormous income taxes that you pay in your coastal cities, it disappears when you go into the Deep South. Another great benefit of living in these areas is low traffic. And the comfort that you have knowing that if some emergency does befall you, the police will respond, the fire department will respond, your neighbors will respond. They're right there, eager and willing to help. That will lower your blood pressure a few points. When you live in a city like New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco, the average individual can spend anywhere from a total of 2 to 4 hours a day sitting in traffic. When you spend that much time going back and forth to work each day, each week, and each year, then you start doing the calculus and you realize some extraordinary things. If you spend just 3 hours a day in traffic, that's 780 hours a year of just sitting behind the wheel of your car, waiting for the guy ahead of you to move up a few feet, while he waits for the traffic ahead of him to move up a few feet. If you convert 780 hours a year to days, that comes out to be 97 8-hour days. Think about that for a second. That's 3 months of your year sitting in traffic. That's time that you're not spending with your family, and you're not making money because you're not really doing any work behind the wheel. So wait till you hear this. 3 months a year of sitting in traffic over 10 years, that comes out to be approximately 30 months, or about 2.5 years of your life sitting in traffic over a 10-year period. Think about that. That's staggering. Ask yourself, is that amount of time sitting in the car really worth the advantage of living in a major market like Los Angeles or New York? I know that's a huge sacrifice. Relocating to another area is really, really difficult. But let me give you something to consider. And that's that $500,000 in the bank that you'll have after you move into your 5,000 square foot mansion that you paid $500,000 for. Wait till you hear this. So a lot of you are thinking that you may not be able to find a job in your profession if you move into the Midwest or in the Deep South. Well, consider this option. The average cost of a bachelor's degree in North Carolina or one of the other 7 states is about $7,000 per year, or about $28,000 for a 4-year bachelor's degree. That means you can get a degree in another profession for about, let's call it 30,000, and still have $470,000 in the bank. You choose the degree, you choose the profession, and now you should be able to get a job somewhere in the Deep South doing something new that you maybe always wanted to do. You know what else you have besides having more job options once you increase your academic training? You also have the luxury of living in a new area that doesn't get earthquakes, doesn't get mudslides, isn't overrun with criminal behavior, and and you're not being stifled by a level of traffic that is just unbelievable. So this phenomenon, once again, it's called economic relocation, and it's being done by literally thousands of people a day. People moving from New York to Florida, people moving from California to Texas, people moving from other coastal cities to the Deep South, Tennessee, the Carolinas, Georgia. All these states rather, are experiencing net population gains, while the insanely managed coastal areas are experiencing heavy losses of populations moving out. So if you find yourself in a difficult spot, maybe you've been struggling in these cities for a few decades, and perhaps you've lost your job, or perhaps age has caught up to you, or maybe you're just being priced out by the taxes and the crime and the traffic, and you're looking for an option. Consider economic relocation. So, having said that, I want to wish you the best of luck, and we will talk to you soon.